Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be straying a little bit away from conspiracies and going on to something that I am extremely fond of, and that is UFOs. UFOs, aliens, the whole band sheets. I absolutely have such a fascination for it. I've seen something many years ago when I was a kid, difficult to explain or make of it something. I mean, when you're a child, you also see things and you tend to exaggerate. But I'll save that for another video one day and give you the whole story from start to finish, and possibly look at a couple of other stories that people have told me, people close to me. So pretty believable stuff. But today we're going to be looking at UFOs in general and just a couple of alien abduction stories and encounters and that. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Number 1. We're going to start off with a story straight out of my country, South Africa. Yes, that's right, we also have aliens here. I'm going to read this piece from a news extract that I saw this morning. It goes like this. The National Sea Rescue Institute, also known as NSRI, has received reports of a UFO sighting near Jeffreys Bay in the Eastern Cape. It's understood the unidentified flying object was spotted about 300 meters above a plane before it was seen shooting back towards Earth late on Monday night. No disruptions to plane travel were reported, and all flights traveling through the area have since been accounted for. The NSRI's Craig Lambian said they weren't sure what it was what they saw, and they simply described it as a large green object. The NSRI investigated, and there is no sign of anybody overdue or possibly even missing. No reports of any aircraft overdue, and the object remains a mystery. Now, this is not the first time I've heard of a story coming from South Africa. I mean, you don't really hear them in the news internationally, but as locals we tend to hear these stories and just pass it by because we South Africans, we battle other things that are much more scarier than UFOs. But my believing is that there probably is more information out there, and if people just came forward and told their story without fear of a public prosecution, and that, we'd probably hear more stuff as well. So if you've got anything and you are in South Africa, please reach out to me. Let's investigate this a little bit further. Number 2. What is certain about the night of October 11, 1973 is this. When Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker Jr. arrived at the Sheriff's Department in Pascagoula, Mississippi, they were frantic. They told authorities that they had just been abducted by aliens. Each had a puncture wound in one arm. Police tried to catch them in a lie, but it didn't work. Both men later passed polygraph tests. On Saturday, the riverbank where the men said the close encounter happened got a historical marker, calling it one of the best documented cases of alien abduction. After decades of avoiding media attention, Parker was there for the dedication. Unfortunately, Hicks passed away in 2011. In 1973, Hickson was Parker's foreman at a shipyard. The two had gone fishing after work at an abandoned boat launch and were still there after the sun went down. I was just getting ready to get some more bait, Hickson told the Washington Post in 1975, when I heard a kind of zipping sound. I looked up and saw blue light flashing. Calvin turned around too. We saw a 30-foot long object with a little dome on top. As it hovered just above the ground, 3 small creatures emerged, also hovering, he said. The men were suddenly paralyzed. The creatures grabbed them with pincer-type claws and pulled them towards the objects. I floated inside, Pico had told the Biloxi Sun-Herald in 2018. Hickson said they were subjected to a physical examination by something that looked like a big eye, a constant mechanical sound buzzing the whole time in the background. And then they were just dropped off, right back in the dark delta where they had started. Hickson found Parker standing up, arms raised to the sky and screaming, he told the Post. They ran for help. At first, sheriff's investigators thought the men had been drunk, or even just lying. After interviewing the men, they left the room with the recorder secretly taping, hoping to catch the pair dropping the act once they had left. But they didn't. They kept on talking about what they had seen and how scared they were. We did everything we knew to try and break their stories, Jackson County Sheriff's Captain Glenn Ryder had told the Post in 1975. If they were lying to me, they should be in Hollywood, he said. Now, this story carries quite a bit of weight. I mean, it's a public story. People have known it for many years now. And I don't recall ever seeing anyone discrediting the story, so this one seems pretty plausible to me. Number 3. Antonio Villas-Boas's seduction. In 1957, small aliens with huge heads allegedly came for Villas-Boas, a young Brazilian farmer. Villas-Boas was forced inside their vessel, where the creatures took blood samples from, of all places, his chin. Yes, that's right, his chin. And then rubbed in some sort of gel. Soon after, a blonde female with big almond-shaped eyes joined him. She began rubbing his body and then initiated sex. After they were done, she left quickly, which gave Villas-Boas the impression that he was being used to better the alien stock. He didn't react well, as he suddenly felt exploited as a good stallion by these foreign chin fetishists. Now, as weird as it was, his encounter with its probing and forced sex became the archetype of alien abduction. Reportedly skittish at first, he eventually told his story to João Martins, the writer behind popular magazine O Cruzeiro's Flying Saucers Terrible Mission series. Doctors confirmed Boas had suffered radiation poisoning, but Martins ultimately sourced on Boas's story. For one, because his spaceship sketch bore remarkable similarities to the Soviet Union Sputnik. He turned out alright. He got a law degree, had 4 kids, and died believing his children had a half-sibling living in space. Now, the story is a bit, I don't know, it's touch and go for me. It's got parts of it that seem very realistic, and then other parts just seem like he might have got drunk and slept with a prostitute, but I don't know, it's a really strange one. I'm not too sure. I haven't seen much more about the story out there in the public, so I don't know, maybe there is. If you have seen more of the story, please let me know about it. Number 4. The Wow Signal. In 1977, Ohio State's Big Ear radio telescope intercepted a 72-second burst of sound that bore signs of having come from interstellar space, which could be a sign of extraterrestrial communication. The anomaly measured 1,420 megahertz, a frequency in the waterhole, the term for a radio emission range thought ideal for intergalactic messages because it's unusually quiet. Jerry Eman, the astronomer who spotted it, was so excited that he scribbled a giant wow on his printer. Astronomy's explanations for the bizarre phenomenon include secret spy satellites and a passing comet nobody knew about in 1977. But many admit nothing explains it adequately. And even if the signal doesn't prove aliens exist, it's still a tug on the cosmic fishing line, which is, of course, a good fishing reference. And to date, it remains the best evidence of alien communication ever obtained. Now, to me, this one seems pretty legit. I mean, yes, I think there's possibly many signals out there that aliens are sending, trying to communicate with us, if that's the case, and we just don't have the technology to hear it or interpret it or understand it better. You never know. I mean, we as humans have tried ourselves to communicate with them, and the same thing goes for that. They possibly have our technology is outdated and could probably never reach them. So it's pretty sad to think that, and I'd like to believe we would have made contact by now. However, I remain open to the idea that we could be getting signals all the time from them. Number 5. The Phoenix Lights. On March 13, 1997, thousands of people in southern Arizona said that they saw weird lights move across the night sky in a flying V formation. Most of their reports came in between 7 and 10:30 p.m. along a 300-mile stretch from Phoenix through Tucson and to the Mexican border. A majority of people spied the pattern passing overhead. It was supposedly several football fields long. And the Air Force also sent a team of A-10 Warthogs from nearby Barry Goldwater Range on a training exercise that same night. And as luck would have it, those planes dropped some stationary flares just outside Phoenix, considerably complicating any UFO conspiracies within a second set of strange bright lights. Witnesses claim to have watched the first set of lights, the low-altitude wedge formation, close by their binoculars. They say they saw lights were red and had a singular white one at the V's tip, seemingly engineless, and even banked southeast at one point. Actor Kurt Russell now claims he saw them while up in a private plane near the Phoenix airport, but air traffic control told him the radar was clear. Oh, well, of course they would. Governor Fife Symington reportedly witnessed the V-shape as well, and at the time he felt sure it wasn't aliens, but his mind changed in 2007 after retiring from politics. You see what I'm saying? Of course he would, and of course he wouldn't. He told the media that as a pilot, he knows just about every machine that flies, and these lights definitely weren't terrestrial. So those are just the stories for today, guys. Growing up, I had great TV shows that depicted aliens and the mystery around them, such as X-Files and the series V. It just makes you wonder, what is out there? Doesn't matter what religion you believe in or what your thought process is. Surely we could all agree that there is no ways that we could be the only planets out of absolute millions of planets and in millions of galaxies and universes, etc., that has life on it. We've seen signs on planets nearby of possible life or possible water found, which, if there's water there has to be life. So we need to just open our minds a little bit more to it and not discredit every story we hear. Yes, of course, a lot of the stories we hear, the people look like they've been drinking methylated spirits for about 2 weeks and have not slept. So you can make those up for yourself, but definitely there's got to be something else to it. I, for one, have always had a great belief in aliens. I'm not necessarily talking about the little green men with big heads and big eyes, but definitely something else. And when I say alien, I mean another life form out there. I know, and I've mentioned previously in one of my other YouTube videos, that Neil deGrasse Tyson has gone out and said, no, it can't be possible because it would take so many light years to travel, blah, blah, blah. Yes, absolutely, it would take so long to travel to get to Earth using our technology. We need to remember that they wouldn't be using our technology. They probably have means and ways of just crossing between galaxies in the blink of an eye. And the skeptics will say, well, why haven't we seen more of them? Why haven't they come to conquer us? Well, let's just be honest. If they could get to our planet in the blink of an eye, do you honestly think that there's anything on our planet worth taking? There's possibly other Earth-like planets out there that they've already conquered, and maybe they don't need a planet that is Earth-like. Maybe they need something like Mars that just looks very barren. And who knows, maybe they are on Mars. We just can't see them or feel them or smell them, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know, guys, it's up to you to decide what you think, but I definitely think there is something out there. So I'm going to close the show with, if you have any stories yourself of alien sightings or alien abductions in that case, I'd absolutely love for you to reach out to me. Let me know, and I'd definitely like to put it on my next video. So guys, like the X-Files says, the truth is out there. Take care, be safe, and look after one another. Cheers.